Join us on Bright Republic, weekdays, 8 a.m.
Good morning to you and welcome to your favorite station. Of course, you already know this is the blazing voice of talk, information plus entertainment. Bright 98.7 FM here in the capital city of Abuja. 8 minutes gone past 8 o'clock. My name is Simeon Sunday, and it's yet another day for us to have a daily dose of the headlines, of course, as well as the top stories on the covers of major newspaper platforms here in Nigeria. And of course, I got my guest right here in the studio, not a guest per se, an in-house analyst. I'm talking about Ejiro Onuata. He is a political analyst as well as a lecturer. Good morning to you, Ejiro.
Good morning, Simeon. Good morning, Abuja.
Great to have you. You know, it's a new week. For lovers of political development and a lot of trending stories that we'll be talking about. And, amazing that you're here, Jiro. Great to have you. And now let's get straight to the headline. And, of course, taking our lead story from the Punch newspaper this morning. And, of course, if you have a copy of the Punch, you see the headline there. Audit report nails Adamu Omishore as Tinubu governor's shop for new chair. Audit report nails Adamu Omishore as Tinubu governor's shop for new chair. The sudden resignation of the national chairman of the ruling All Progressive Congress, Senator Abdullahi Adamu, and the national secretary, Senator Iola Omishore, was spurred by the manner they handled the contentious audit report of the party's accounts. The Punch has learned this is as indications emerged that President Bola Tinubu and governors elected on the platform of the party have started shopping for replacements for the departed officials. Adamu and Omishore handed over their resignation letters on Sunday amid controversies about the reason for their action. Their resignation letters were officially confirmed at an emergency meeting held by the National Working Committee at the party headquarters in Abuja on Monday. And the announcement was made by Adamu's successor, Senator Abubakar Kyari, who has taken over the mantle of leadership in an acting capacity in line with the party's constitution, while Omishore's attempt to join the National Working Committee meeting was thwarted as he was prevented from accessing the venue. And aggrieved National Working Committee members told the Punch correspondent on Monday that the contention over the manner the two men handled the audit of the party's account, refusal to render party account for 1 year, lack of transparency, a violation of the party constitution, and running a one-man show without the contribution of the National Working Committee were responsible for their downfall. And speaking on condition of anonymity, an National Working Committee member stated the final straw that broke the camel's back was the manner that is Adamu and Omishore contracted the audit account to an external auditor without the consent of the National Working Committee or even the National Executive Council of the party. So now it is confirmed that Adamu has officially resigned his position as the chairman of the party, as well as Omishore. And now looking at the controversy surrounding the party right now, the National Working Committee members, as well as some stakeholders of the party, raised some issue. And this issue has been lingering before now, even before the political season, that before even, the APC went to polls. Some people have been talking about how, these individuals have been running the affairs of the party. As account has not been tendered, no one knows what has been done, no official audit on the account, especially talking about the expenditures of the party during the election, how much was recovered from the purchase of nomination forms, how much was expended during the campaign seasons, and no one knows about it. And even Adamu, according to reports, allegedly contracted auditors to to audit the account of the party without the knowledge of the National Working Committee members of the party. And these have actually, put some members off, and they have actually been calling for the head of Adamu. And finally, that was what we saw on Sunday, where reports actually flying around had it that Adamu indeed tendered his resignation letter as the chairman of the party. Now, the race for who will be the new chairman of the APC is on now. Now the question is, who will actually take over the mantle of leadership from Adamu, especially knowing that how vibrant the APC is at this particular moment. Because even before Adamu emerged as the national chairman of the party, we saw the drama that ensued before his emergence, that even the president at the time, that the former president Buhari, had to come in and of course mention him as the consensus candidate to be the chairman of the party. And of course every other party members had to give way for Adamu to become the chairman, even though they were still aggrieved members at the time.
Well, Simeon, to be frank with you, I think this cannot be unconnected with the way Adamu came out with the former Senate president to be the consensus candidate, and we also how some persons were not really happy about that. It is only normal that we expect when Tinubu gets to power, he will want to get people who are loyal to him, because there's been this little issue between the Adamu camp and the Tinubu camp, because they feel Adamu is not loyal. We saw the role he played when he announced the former Senate president as the consensus candidate without even members of the party agreeing to that. So you see, I'm not really surprised that this is happening. I know that it will only take time for Tinubu to just get in there and reshuffle what they have on ground. We equally saw what happened during the 10th assembly, how some principal officers were announced and Adamu came out to say, no, these are not persons
that was put forward by the party.
So you can understand that there's a whole lot going on between the presidency and the camp of Adamu, and I'm not surprised that he's bowing out now. Because
so now is it the presidency against the former chairman of the party? Is that what it now looks like?
Well, that is what it is. Yes, there's a whole lot of issues hanging, how they spend fund and all. Yes, definitely you must give a dog a bad name in order to kill it, all right? But these are just the bottom line still remains that they don't have a good rapport with the president. And it's only normal for the president to really take control of the party. We've seen him did this in Lagos when he was the governor of Lagos State. Tinubu is a strategist. He knows how to get things done the way he wants it. So I think this is just what is playing out. We are going to see men who will be loyal to the president, just like the list we saw with the National Assembly. We know the role the president
played. So in this case, is it that the president is now fighting against certain individuals who weren't supportive of his ambition? Because the truth is, we know what happened prior to the polls when we went before the election. We saw what even happened prior to the APC's convention, where everyone had to throw in their towel. To some individuals threw in their towel, allowing Tinubu to emerge. But we saw what played out before that time. Adamu actually mentioned, the former Senate president, as you mentioned, as the consensus candidate of the APC, and some were saying he was doing this in connivance with the president at the time, and that is former President Muhammadu Buhari. But now, looking at what is playing out now, being that Tinubu is now the president of the country, and of course he is seen as a national leader of the APC. So is this a way of him, shelving off or putting certain individuals who were not totally in support of his ambition at the time, putting them off the party and trying to bring people who are in total support of his administration?
Well, in politics, 99% loyalty is no loyalty at all. It has to be 100%. And I think what the president is doing is taking charge. All right, you need to be in charge of your party, because it seems like with Adamo on the way, the president is not fully in charge. Because how can the president, yes, the list of the principal officers we saw, you can't disconnect that from the president. The president must have an input in that, whether you like it or not. Now we saw Adamo came out to say, no, this list does not really belongs to the party. It's not from the party and all that. It shows there's a disconnect between the presidency and the party. So the president just need to do the needful by putting someone who probably he feel will be loyal to him, because 100% loyalty is what is needed at this time.
Okay, anyway, let's see how it pans out for the APC, and let's see who becomes the chairman of the party, even though we have the likes of Funtua and Kiari acting in that capacity at the moment, pending when the president as well as the governors come together and put who will become the chairman of the party. And away from that, let's move on to still the headline on the Punch. And this one has to do with the suspended EFCC chairman Abdul Rashid Bawa. So the Punch reports that suspended EFCC chair spends 33 days in custody. Suspended EFCC chair spends 33 days in custody. We'll be coming to the details of the headline when we come back from this break. Don't move a muscle. Stay with us.
Abuja. It's the gathering of investors. Sabino's live in Abuja. I'm expecting something huge. Featuring the new cats of comedy, Passion, Titles of My Flatmate, Kelvin Sapp, Shortcut, MC Bob, Saraki Daria, Wonder, Aso Rock, Philosopher, and lots more. Formula, KC. Date is Sunday, 30th July 2023. Time 6 p.m. Venue, Congress Hall, Transcorp Hilton, Abuja. Tickets regular 7K, VIP 20K. Gold table 1 million naira. Platinum table 2 million naira. Tickets are available at Hustle and Bustle. This event is supported by The General Peters, Transcorp Hilton, Abbas Steph Global Links, Seymour Home Options, Odibola Properties, and Portland Hotel. Sabino's live in Abuja is packaged by Shortcut Entertainment. Media partner, Bright FM.
Wake up in the morning, feeling good. Turn on my TV, feeling good. Me, I want some fun, I'm gonna get it. Alright, entertainment, y'all gonna feel it.
CSTV brings the news, the music and the movies. Sports for the ground, cartoon for the kiddies, shows for the girls, non-stop entertainment connecting your world. That's how I like. CSTV all the way, yow yow yow.
Getting out for less,
We keeping all of you grinding.
easing out my stress.
We got everything you wanted.
Getting out for less.
CSTV Africa connecting your world. Yeah yeah.
I am here since 3 days ago.
Like corruption can happen at anywhere.
Corrupt with petrol. I prevent it with not a lot of corruption with petrol.
I see them for hotel, I see them for markets. And if you see them, you go know.
They say you get where them, then they embalm themselves, but me, I never go to that kind of place before.
Let's discuss the headlines and politics.
Going by the Senate Standing Orders of 2011 as amended, which is the genuine and authentic because it has never, and it protects. Will you shut up?
Get involved. Air your opinions. In this republic, we don't turn off your mic. Join us on Bright Republic, weekdays, 8 a.m.
You're welcome back at 21 minutes gone past 8 o'clock. Still Bright Republic, right here on Bright 98.7. Now to the headline, which says, on the Punch, I beg your pardon, which actually says suspended AFCC chair spends 33 days in custody. The suspended chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Abdul Rashid Bawa, has spent 33 days in the custody of the DSS. The secret police arrested Bawa on the 14th of June, hours after a suspension by President Bola Tinubu. The Director of Information Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Willie Bassi, in a statement announcing Bawa's suspension, cited weighty allegations of abuse of office leveled against him as the reason for the president's decision. And since his arrest, the DSS has kept mum on the specific offenses for which Bawa was arrested, the level of investigation, and whether charges would be filed against him in court. A statement by the DSS spokesperson, Peter Afunaya, shortly after Bawa's suspension on June 14th, said the embattled EFCC chair arrived at the facility of the DSS in response to an invitation. And several calls to Afunaya on Monday to get an update on the matter were not answered. He also did not respond to a text message sent to his line by the Punch correspondent. And commenting on the continued detention of Bawa, an Abuja-based human rights lawyer, Belumi Olajengbesi, has said it was illegal for the DSS to keep Bawa in detention without trial. So, 33 days after the arrest of Abdul Rashid Bawa, the suspended EFCC chairman, human rights lawyers announced saying that it is totally illegal for, the secret police to keep holding on to Abdul Rashid Bawa, as they have not officially come out to state the allegations leveled against him. Before now, they said weighty allegations, but Nigerians are asking, what are those allegations? What has Abdul Rashid Bawa done? If he has done anything, put it out there, charge him to court, just like we saw in the case of Emefiele, the suspended former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, where he was actually being held for a couple of weeks. And a court actually had to, give an order asking the DSS to ensure that they charge him to court in less than 1 week. Hence, they are violating his human rights. And of course, we saw Emefiele as well. So the DSS for a violation of his freedom, looking at all of this together, there have been several reports by individuals that most times the DSS would actually hold people and then start investigation. It is believed that prior to any arrest, it is normal, or it will be thought that investigation will be done, and of course all cases against the persons that is to be investigated will be put together, and of course arrest the person, hold them for the period of time as stipulated by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and then charge the person to court. So this is another person, Abdul Rashid Bawa, who has been in the DSS custody for 33 days as reported by the press. And now people are saying this is a total violation of his rights.
Simeon, it's quite sad when we find ourselves in a position where you hold people against their fundamental human rights. How can you keep someone without charging him to court? It doesn't really make sense.
Just in the case of Emefiele, it was just the day that the order was given that the DSS actually put out an official statement through their spokesperson Peter Afunaya as well, that they've now charged Emefiele to court. Just the day that I haven't held him down for a couple of weeks. So it now seems like this is the mode of operation of the DSS.
No, it shouldn't be, because we must not have people bigger than the institution. All right, we must always respect the institution, because what we're seeing now does not really tally with the Constitution. I mean, if a court gives an order, say release so person, and you're still holding that person, what message are you sending to the people? Because it's like saying, a man is caught stealing something, and then he's prosecuted. At the end of the day, he comes out to say, I will not respect that particular court judgment, because so person is holding so person against the Constitution and all that. So I think we should respect whatever the Constitution says. All right? Because if we continue like this, it becomes a banana republic, and we don't want to see that. I think whoever is responsible for holding the DSS should charge the man to court. Let's know his offense, because at this time we don't want to be speculating. We want to know what he did that he was removed and arrested. All right? Charge him to court. Let him face the music. And I think, Simeon, this is another way to look at it. When you're in power, you should watch it. Don't just feel like, oh, you can do anything and get away with it. Because who will have thought that the EFCC chairman will be investigated, even be in detention for 3 days? I mean, so things change and things happen.
Okay. Anyway, they say power is transient, so it moves from one person to another. So while you're in office, ensure you do your job diligently. That's what Ejiro is basically saying. Away from that, let's move on to another headline, and this one is on The Guardian. Sit at home, businesses, schools open in Enugu as Mba vows to seal locked shops. Others. Sit at home, businesses, schools open in Enugu as Mba vows to seal locked shops. Others. For the first time in several months, full academic and business activities resumed in Enugu State yesterday as the government intensified efforts to eradicate the sit-at-home order imposed by the Biafra agitators. This was as Governor Peter Mba, who monitored compliance with the forced restriction yesterday, warned traders at the Ogbete main market, the Garki, Kenyatta, and other places that locking shops on Mondays would no longer be condoned. And The Guardian observed improved vehicular and human movement as well as enhanced security patrol in Enugu. Yesterday, major markets such as Ogbete, Kenyatta, and others have continued to be deserted, although the entrance to the market was wide open with security operative at strategic locations. Many shops were under lock and key. However, other similar markets like the major Abakbo and Artisan markets were a beehive of activities as they operated fully. And the state secretariat was also full of activities as civil servants reported to work. A source noted that compliance by workers with the governor's directive was complemented with provision of buses for workers. And besides public schools, many private institutions were opened, indicating they were complying with the governor's directives. And school authorities expressed confidence that the countermeasure had come to stay, given the level of security arrangements on ground. Mba actually assured residents that adequate security had been provided, observing that there had not been any incident of attacks since the ban on the sit-at-home in June. So Peter Mba is now serious. You know, the Enugu State Governor is very serious about, the total stoppage of the sit-at-home order, especially in the southeastern part of the country. Prior to this time, we've talked about some states plagued with these vices. I remember talking about the case in Ebonyi State 2 weeks ago where marketers were being beaten, school students and their teachers were flogged by these agitators. And even bike men were being shot at. Videos surfaced online, but Enugu State Governor is now taking the lead that even if every other state governor will not take this issue seriously, I will take it as serious as possible. He has deployed all the security apparatus he can within his, his power to ensure that the streets are safe, the markets are safe, people get back to business, and Mondays become as usual in Enugu State.
Well, it's a good one that the governor is taking charge, because you have all the powers within your purview to do the needful. If you sit down and wait for federal government, I don't think he will achieve much. You have the security vote, all right? All you need to do is empower Ebube Agu to be a counter force against those agitators, all right? So I don't think, the only part I don't like about the statement is you not saying shops that are locked will not be tolerated. That makes you the same thing as those who ask them to sit at home in the first place, because it's against their right. Yes, I can decide not to go to work on that particular day. It's my right.
True.
All right. So all they need to do is put the needful in place, put security on ground. Whoever wants to come should. If you don't want to, stay at home. All right. Because if you make it mandatory that if your shop is locked, we'll prosecute you, it doesn't really make sense. Because at the end of the day, those other guys ask them to sit at home. If you open your shop, we'll deal with you. And now you are giving the same threat. If you don't open your shop, we deal with you. So what are you saying? So I don't think they should make that kind of statement. At the end of the day, put security on ground. People will come. Once they feel they have that confidence that you've been able to do the needful, they'll turn up.
So you don't need to feeling of safety.
Yes, you don't need to threaten them that if you don't come, we'll do whatever. So government should be government.
Okay. Anyway, as much as you're saying, it is totally wrong for the governor to threaten his indigents, telling them to go out and do their business. That rather than, forcing them or enforcing go back to work or go back to business, open schools and all of that. It is understandable if he's actually enforcing this on businesses that are being run by governments. Let's say civil servants or civil service that the governments pay them. It is understandable. But individuals who have decided that we are not too sure yet, because that's how humans are. Humans want to be sure that things are okay before they go out. Possibly those who went out to come back on Tuesday to tell them there was nothing, there's safety and all of that. But let's look at this. Let's flip the coin around. We now know how serious Mba is about, stopping the sit-at-home order in Enugu State. Hence, we saw so many security officials out there, schools, markets, ensuring that we don't see these agitators come up and play a fast one on them. But my question is there a possibility that these individuals, maybe possibly the agitators of Biafra in Enugu State who have been causing this havoc all this while, know that there will be good security, so they've decided to lay low, waiting for when things return to normal and they strike again? That is the questions you also ask. How long will they keep putting the security officials out there? Will they do this, monitor the situation after a few weeks or few months, everything goes back to normal? Or will the security officials be stationed at strategic locations for a very long time, ensuring that we don't see a resurgence
security
of
is
this?
A continuous business.
And
at the same time, it's everybody's business. All right? So I don't think they should lay low at any time. We have the Buyagu in that state. Empower them. Okay, get them weapons to be able to counter this group. And for the IPOB, they've severally denied that they are not part of this particular order. So what are they doing about it? If you are fighting for a particular set of persons, and then those same persons are being marginalized by this same your own group, so I think the onus is on IPOB to come out to counter these particular persons doing this thing in their name. That's the only way we can now believe that IPOB is not responsible for this. It's not enough to just put out statements. What are you doing? You have a strike force. Why not go after these persons who are giving you a bad name? I think that's what they should do.
Okay, and quickly away from that, let's move on to the Guardian newspaper. And on the Guardian, this one has to do with the PEPC. That is the Presidential Election Petition Court. The Guardian reports that PDP, Labour Party, knock APC over alleged plot to intimidate the PEPC. People's Democratic Party yesterday said threats by lawyers of President Bola Tinubu and the All Progressive Congress addressed in a letter to the Presidential Election Petition Court is a preemptive move to intimidate the judiciary. The PDP, in a statement by its National Publicity Secretary Debo Ologunagba, declared it is alarming and disturbing that the APC externalized to the public their final written address, in which they also threatened national peace. If the court upholds the clear provisions of Section 134 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in 1999 as amended, with regard to mandatory and statutory requirements for which a candidate in a presidential election can be declared winner, the PDP said the threats, either through counsel for or officials of the APC, were calculated to intimidate and harass the judiciary and Nigerians. PDP held that the intent of APC was to blackmail the courts and emasculate the independence of the judiciary to discharge its duties in accordance with the dictates of the law. Also, the Labour Party, in a statement by its National Publicity Secretary Obiora Ifor, said legal interpretation of the law as provided for in the Constitution on 25% of lawful votes cast in the FCT cannot lead to absurdity, chaos, anarchy, and alteration of the very intention of the legislator. I don't know if you saw that statement credited to the APC via its counsel, where it's been said that the FCT should be seen because one of the bone of contention, that why the APC is in court, why most parties are in court at the moment, is that that the president did not get 25% votes in the FCT. Yes, he scored 25% in major states in the country, but not the FCT. And when we look at the votes put forward during the last election, we saw that the Labour Party actually scored even beyond the 25% that is required by even the newly electoral, the new electoral acts of the country. The PDP did not even score 25%. The APC as well did not score 25%. Even other parties, just the Labour Party. And this is where the Labour Party is hammering on. That, as provided for by the Electoral Act, that he who will be announced as the winner must score at least 25%, in certain number of states and the FCT. So, the court is there to describe or tell us what and FCT means. But the APC is now saying that the FCT should be seen as the 37th state of the country. It shouldn't be singled out as an individual entity on its own, that every individual or every presidential candidate must clinch 25% from the FCT. That if this is done, it might lead to what some individuals said, anarchy and all of that. But now the PDP, the Labour Party, have actually kicked against that statement by the APC, that if the Constitution, even the Electoral Act stipulates this, and and that is not being met, how is it that doing what the Constitution and the Electoral Act provides for will now lead to anarchy? That is the question the Labour Party and even the PDP is asking the APCA and its council.
One could understand why the statement does not really sit well with the PDP and the Labour Party, because what does the Constitution say? You just read out what the Constitution says, 25%, all right, in the FCT. So why not respect the Constitution? I mean, the Constitution is written for man, all right? So I don't see the reason why they should violate the Constitution. At the end of the day, the court, the eyes of the world is on the court now.
Because even the PDP is saying, the APC had to put that statement, and if you look at that statement, it is a total intimidation of the judiciary. So they don't carry out their duty without bias. Especially knowing that the Constitution provides for what other parties are actually clamoring for. But we don't want to preempt the result. We don't want to preempt the judgment of the court. The case is still in court at the moment, pending when an official announcement.
Look at it this way: if the reverse was the case, if the statement is coming from the APC, the Labour Party or the PDP, I don't think the APC will just fold its arms and watch them make this kind of statement. So I think everybody should be guided. In the kind of statement you make, you should be guided. We still have this case in court. So to avoid issues like this, to avoid overheating the polity, because this could be tantamount to inciting people to do what they ought not to do. I think we should be guided with the kind of statement we put out, because a lot of people are listening, and some persons could be gullible. All right, not everybody is well educated to the point where they understand these things. You see, Abuja is a mini Nigeria. Hence, the Constitution says you must get 25%. It means almost every tribe is represented in Abuja. All right. So hence the Constitution says 25%. It means you must have gotten votes from each and every of these
states and the FCT.
So I think we should.
Anyway, let's just wait and see what the presidential petition court actually gets to do with this. We're still waiting for it, but the Labour Party and the PDP is crying that statement by the APC and its council is totally unacceptable. That rather they should allow the court carry out its duty and its responsibility without making such statements alluding to whatever decision they are going to make, if it will be in favor of the APC or against them. That is what the PDP and the Labour Party are kicking against at this particular time. And away from that, quickly, let's move on to another headline, and this one has to do with the report on Daily Trust. It has to do with the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Daily Trust reports Emefiele, Arewa leader in South, wife detained by DSS, relatives protest. Emefiele, Arewa leader in South, wife detained by DSS. Relatives protest. The Council of Arewa Chiefs in southern Nigeria yesterday protested the continued detention of Sarkin Hausawa of Lagos and the chairman of the council, Alhaji Aminu Yaro, by the DSS. It was learned that the secret police had invited Yaro for interrogation in connection with the ongoing investigation of the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele. The monarch, after 3 days, has remained in custody of the secret police. The council chiefs, in a statement signed by Chairman of Lagos, Yerima Shetima, demanded immediate and unconditional release of their leader and his wife. They described their detention as unlawful, asking the DSS to grant them immediate access to legal representation, medical attention, and family members. Shetima said while the council was not challenging the power of the DSS and any security service in the country to invite any person of interest for any of its investigation, the detention of the Yaro beyond 24 hours, as stipulated in the law by the DSS, is repugnant to the sensibilities of the traditional rulership system, the Arewa community, and the Council of Chiefs. He suggested that the DSS should present him before a competent court of law rather than holding him indefinitely without any trial. Now, the DSS, again, in the eye of Nigerians, especially as regards the case with Emefiele. We all know that Emefiele has been an individual of interest, especially for the DSS. Remember, prior to this time, he was held down for a couple of weeks and, of course, being charged to court. And we saw the charge against him, in possession of illegal firearm. That's one of the charge we saw in the media at the time of that report. But now, looking at what has transpired so far, we know that in investigating an individual, persons of interest will also be called in by the DSS, interrogated, especially if there are any forms of linkages between the person who DSS is interested in and other persons they've had a business or connection with. This is also part of the responsibility of the DSS, so they are not wrong in doing that if they invite anybody. But some individuals, especially those in the traditional system, the Arewa, in Lagos, are saying if you are going to interrogate our person, we have no problem with it. But the continual holding or detention of this person for 3 days without us having access to him, without access to health facility and all of that, it is totally repugnant to the provision of the Constitution. If you are investigating or interrogating him, 24 hours is enough for you to interrogate anybody of interest. And if you find anything wanting or you find any baggage on him, all you have to do in 24 hours, charge him to court. And don't keep holding on to this person. That is what, the Council of Arewa Chiefs in southern Nigeria are saying about the DSS at the moment.
Well, Simeon, in as much as we don't want to seem like they were putting pressure on the DSS,
It's just amazing that most of the headlines this morning
the DSS is just in the news.
DSS.
Yes, because they've been doing a whole lot now. But you see, we need to understand that sometimes when investigations like these are ongoing, some persons will be invited for questioning. Mm-hmm. All right, so we should not really put pressure on the DSS because they have a job to do at the end of the day, and matters of national security need to be tackled in a different way. But the DSS should be mindful of not to violate people's rights as well, because if you arrest somebody, take them to court while you're still investigating. You still have the chance to investigate, but you must charge them to court, okay? Because that's what the Constitution says. But then, we should not mount unnecessary pressure on the DSS because they have a job to do as well.
Okay, true. The DSS, they do have a job to do, especially ensuring that everything that has to do with, security in the country is properly handled and other issues as well. Away from that, let's move on to another headline, and this one is on Daily Trust as well. Daily Trust reports tough time for families as inflation soars to 7-year high. 12th time for families as inflation soars to 7-year high. Poor families in all parts of the country are facing hard times with the astronomical rise in food prices and other commodities over the last 2 months. And many of them said they are finding it difficult to feed, even as their income continues to dwindle. Nigerians' monthly inflation rate soared to a 7-year high in June after President Bola Tinubu scrapped fuel subsidy and allowed the currency to weaken before declaring a state of emergency to control staple food costs. Our prices rose 2.1% in a month, the most since May 2016, and annual inflation quickened to 22.8% from 22.4% in May, according to the data released by the National Bureau of Statistics. Families and experts who spoke with Daily Trust said the figure does not reflect the reality on ground, as they have to cope with the rising transport fares, runaway food prices, among others. A UN report sometime in January projected that 25 million Nigerians were at the high risk of food insecurity this year, meaning they would not be able to afford enough nutritious food every day. And concerns about food insecurity have been long-standing in Nigeria, Africa's most populous country, which has also been battling widespread insecurity for several years. And recall that President Bola Tinubu declared a state of emergency that will allow the government to take exceptional steps to improve food security and supply, as surging prices cause widespread hardship. And looking at what has played out so far, we saw that, statistics or figures put forward by the NBS, where inflation, there's high food prices, which has actually pushed inflation rate to about 22.79% at the moment. And if you check the inflation rate, it is really alarming for Nigerians, because as cost of living is increasing, but income has actually stayed stagnant or even retrogressing at the moment. And it is really, really sad for Nigerians at this particular moment. And some Nigerians have actually said even the figure put forward by the National Bureau of Statistics is not even a reflection of what is happening in the country, that the figures could be higher than what the NBS has put forward, because there's high cost of price living in the country. Transportation is way up there. So many things. We've seen hiking tariff. Even discos now, the electricity distribution companies are now even requesting for an increment in tariff going forward. So we've seen so many, things that have actually resulted in the astronomical increase in price of goods, services, even commodities in the country. And some Nigerians have been asking, with this inflation rate, what is the government doing to actually provide succor to the average Nigerian?
Well, it's a good thing that they've declared a state of emergency on food and all that. Is quite commendable. But you see, a lot of persons are not comfortable with the fact that you want to borrow a certain amount of money and pay 12 million household 8,000 naira. I mean, what will 8,000 naira do? That money can be used for something else. Simeon, let's look at it this way. My own recommendation for the government is, rather than pay people 8,000 naira, I think you should go get buses. Okay? Get buses. Convert these buses from petrol to gas. Mm-hmm. All right? Which is cheaper now. All right? And then reduce the fare you charge for these buses. Distribute these buses all over Nigeria. That's one thing to do. Another thing is, electricity tariff should not go up. Okay? They should just try to stabilize the price for the meantime. Okay? Another thing you could do is, instead of people paying for their renewal of license and whatever, all those vehicle tax and the rest that you charge people, you suspend it for now because of the hardship. Okay? So there's a whole lot the government can do rather than just take money and start giving out to people. How are we sure it will get to that woman selling akara in whichever neighborhood? Okay, that poor person that really needs that money, because a lot of persons are alluding to the fact that this is just money for the boys.
by money for the boys, what do you mean by money for the boys?
Now, it's the money for the boys, those who have worked during the election.
So are you trying to say? Are you saying the 70 billion earmarked for the legislators is because they've worked?
Well, Simeon, at one time we heard about $800 million that will be shared. I don't know who and who received this money.
They've not received it yet.
They've not received it. And I don't know what data
There's a
they are
loan that
using.
the Senate just approved. So
I don't know what data they will use to know who and who is this poorest of the poor. Because when you talk about poorest of the poor, some of them don't even have a bank account. You will agree with me. They don't even have bank accounts. So how do you intend to reach them? In a country where we've seen during COVID, some persons were being fed when they're at home. So I don't know if they use Bluetooth to feed these persons while they were at home.
possibly, they were doing cash transfer. Maybe they were transferring to the parents of these children.
To which children?
At that
Some
time,
of these
who knows?
parents don't even have bank accounts.
Possibly they went home to home, just like national population census
That
during the
is
counting.
not that. See, let's
do
be
you have a
realistic.
child in school? What school? And then you
Let's
give
be
it.
realistic,
Possibly.
Simeon. That is not possible. Because how can they go home? People were at home. They too were at home. Even the same persons we are talking about were at home. So how did they do that? You see, so a lot of persons are skeptical that this money, you can even use it to empower some modular refineries. That's another way. Another way you can do is you can get 100 million persons and give them 1 million naira each, small scale businesses to grow. And these people will in turn employ maybe 2 or 3 persons. By doing this, you'll be able to empower the economy and empower so many households, rather than just share this money. At the end of the day, you give a man 8,000 naira this month, which will finish in less, if I'm fair enough, let me just say 5 days or a week. So what next?
For individuals like us, 8,000 cannot even give us, 1 bar in our fuel tank.
Okay, just imagine. Now, after that 8,000, what next? So they wait till... You see, this thing, I don't think whoever came up with that policy has thought it through. The government should sit back and look for other alternative or take my recommendation.
Okay, anyway, still talking, you asked the question, Ejiro, and let me respond to that with another headline on The Nation before we open, our platforms for feedback. And on The Nation, in answering your question that how do they know these poor people, The Nation reports that we have a database of 15 million poor Nigerians, says agency. We have database of 15 million poor Nigerians, says agency. The federal government has a database of 15 million poor and vulnerable Nigerians, one of its agencies said yesterday. According to the agency, the 12 million households with a combined population of 60 million people to benefit from the transfer of 8,000 naira per household per month for 6 months. It will serve as palliative for petrol subsidy withdrawal. The number will be sourced from the agency's database. The money to be shared is the $800 million World Bank facility tied to the transfer to the poor to assist them cushion the effects of the hardship arising from the petrol subsidy removal. The National Social Safety Net Coordinating Officer yesterday explained how it sourced the data and how it will reach the beneficiaries of the money. This National Safety Net Coordinating Officer added that the process of generating the database, which commenced in 2016, currently has details of 15 million poor people on its national social register. The $800 million, World Bank facility for the NASSP scale-up will be transferred using that particular database. So for those asking, the Nigerians, the federal government actually have a register of 15 million poor Nigerians. So out of this 15 million, 12 million will be sought or be taken from the 15 million database, and they will be given the 8,000 naira transfer. Because at the end of the day, the essence of the loan was not for any infrastructure. It wasn't for any other project.
They should publish that data for us to see.
The names of
yes,
the
it should be
published
so that we can
numbers,
go to the internet and
the address of the families.
Publish. There should be. You don't just tell us. See, nowadays,
the truth is, aside publishing, do you know you can actually walk into the offices of any of these agencies? There's an FOI. You can actually ask them that you need this information as a Nigerian, and they will give it to you without hesitation.
Now,
and if they hesitate, of course, you take them to court for not giving it to you, because it's your right as a Nigerian to walk into any government agency.
Doing that, we've not really.
Do you know you as an individual can actually walk into any Nigerian government agency
of course,
and ask them for any information? that you think is of interest to you and Nigerians?
This data has to do with 15 million Nigerians, you say. In a country where we have over 200 million, and you want to cater for just 15 million, what are we saying?
These are the poor Nigerians, the poor ones.
How can you say we
Remember,
just have...
the conditional cash transfer, by the federal government, of which they said 8,000 will be transferred to households, is for 12 million. But the agency says they have 15 million people in
I don't think that is still, that is not enough.
So, in other words, 3 million.
That is why you need to do... You need to have a program that can cater for a whole lot of persons. What is 15 million in 200 million?
That's almost roughly 9% or 10%.
So what are you saying? What now happened to the remaining percentage, Simeon? I think we need to get serious. Put this money into something else that will go around, that will benefit almost everybody.
The truth is, this money, especially this 800 million,
we have.
I think let me explain this. Let me explain
asking
this.
for a rise in their
We
salary.
understand that. Let me explain this. If the federal government is to create programs that will benefit every Nigerian or an average Nigerian, not just the poor of the poor, as stated, it will not happen with the $800 million World Bank facility. We need to understand that first.
Of course.
Because this $800 million, this did not even start with the Tinubu's administration. We need to understand that as well. It started even before with the Buhari's administration.
That is why we are calling for you
it
to
was
use...
suspended for a while.
To use
and now
this
Tinubu,
money...
knowing that this hardship Nigerians are going through a lot, decided to resuscitate this, and of course,
Simeon,
request for with the approval of the National Assembly.
I don't think sharing this money will solve anything for these persons. Rather, what's happened to our refineries? If you borrow this money, use it to fix the refinery, will heaven fall?
You cannot borrow. You cannot use that this particular one. I think we need to understand this particular $800 million World Bank facility cannot be used for anything else except for the poor. And that is what the World Bank, that is part of the conditions for you to actually get this facility, which the federal government have actually sought the approval, and they've actually gotten of the National Assembly.
So are you not saying that
we can't borrow?
Are you not saying that the money will only be used when they share it?
Exactly. It can only be used
you can't put
to
it into
benefit the poor of the poor. That's
if you put it into transportation, like I've said,
and
is the poor not using those buses?
And the condition that it must get to the poor directly.
That's what I'm saying.
Not through other means, not through fuel, and where the poor can use transportation directly. Hence, the need for the transfer of this money directly to these poor people. That is the condition that most of us have access to.
If you say
except
it
we don't
must
have
get
the right
to the poor,
information.
if you are setting up a business for the poor, I can understand, because in a short time they were able to, generate more funds.
So are you saying now, rather than us accessing this $800 million loan from our facility, whether its facility is a loan at the end of the day, which we still have to pay back, the point is, are you trying to say we could have actually found a way to access other loans to actually revive other sectors of the economy, rather than this one that is directly to the poor, basically to help them with the fuel subsidy removal?
What I'm saying is, just sourcing this loan to just share money to people, at the end of the day, it's like you give them fish. After eating that fish, what will happen? They'll still be poor.
But at the point, you still need to eat fish to be okay.
If you eat the fish, you'll still be poor. But if you show them the river and say, okay, this is where we'll put the fish.
But let me also make this known to, as much as most of us, life doesn't begin and end in the city center.
Of course. Of course.
Across board, all 36 states, and even here in the capital city. Will it shock you to know that even 8,000 naira, when it gets to the hands of the right people, the poor of the poor, it goes a long way in helping them,
I don't
especially
have a problem with
in their little businesses.
Now, the problem in their little businesses, thank you.
It
now,
could actually help them buy more goods that they could
how do we ensure that it gets to the poor? That is where the problem is. Implementation.
That's why they've actually said there's a social register where
implementation. Who follows this money?
Nigeria.
I think that is where the problem is, because if it gets to the poor, there's that woman that sells kunu. She can use it to empower her business, right? There's that woman that sells akara. She can use it to empower her business, okay? But how are we sure it will get to that person? That is where the problem is. Because I believe that if it gets to the poor, they could use it to empower whatever they do. All right? But in this situation, we are not sure, because some people are already alleging that this is just money for the boys.
Mm-hmm.
So how would the federal government ensure there's a follow-up for this money to get to the right set of persons? I think that is where the bottleneck is.
Okay, anyway, you keep saying money for the boys, money for the boys. I still don't understand what you mean by money for the boys.
Some people have alleged that this is just money for the boys. That at the end of the day, this money will just get to one location and you keep hearing story and story. And
okay, hopefully, let's give this administration that doubt. Possibly, we've seen similar things happen in previous administration. Every administration actually have that right for us to, to erase the doubt of previous administration. Let's see if the administration of President Bola Tinubu will actually change the mindset of Nigerians and, of course, see where our money goes, rather than us hearing that our monies are being used for certain things. It's 9:02 on the clock. It's time for us to open our phone lines and get your reactions on the headlines we've discussed this morning. 08130111724 08130111724. You can also drop a message on WhatsApp. The WhatsApp number is 07033728313. 07033728313. That's the WhatsApp number. The call number is 08130111724. Good morning.
Hello, hey brother, Mr.
Good morning.
My name is Alan. I'm calling from Garimpa.
Go ahead, Alan.
You see, Mr. Simon, it's really, I was almost, I don't know whether to say moved to tears, listening to how pessimistic our guest is. And then this has confirmed, the organization from Nigerians against social intervention to the poor Nigerians have confirmed how disconnected we, the privileged few, the middle class, average, Nigeria living in the city center, how disconnected we are from the rural people. I have the opportunity for working with the National Social Investment Office on a secondment for 18 months. And I think I've been emphasizing this. I was a coordinating field officer in 17 local governments in Northwest. And I also covered some local governments in the Southwest and even in the Southeast. And and I refer to, just like you said, you can walk to the National Social Safety Net Coordinating Office. Just Google, go there, you get the register. I can tell you 90% of the people on this National Social Register office, they don't have account. What we do a register for them, like when all of these daily contributors, that is how the card also looks like. We go through votes, we go to the villages, and we give them the cash every month. We pay the cash directly to them. That 8,000 naira is like 8 million to these people that is targeted them. The people that is able to buy motor, they are able to buy like 5 motors. The people are not, where they transport people, where they buy bus and take it there. It's not where there is a road that is totally that you can take there. If people don't have access, but sometimes people 2-3 years, they don't have electricity supply. In some villages, in on those things, another place is not pass through boats. We use ships. So please, if we cannot, our criticism, if it's not using anything, we shouldn't block these poor people from getting the little that the government is, willing to give them. And the focus on the $800 million, that is not the rate. Do not forget that the National Commodity Mobilization Board, which it was established in the 1970s about the time. And then which, what they do is to subsidize, a business for farmers.
You will need to wrap up. You need to wrap up quickly.
The president has recommissioned the board. They have been giving free fertilizers to farmers and also the 500 billion the National Assembly is for structural investment. So when you run the econometrics,
you need to wrap up now, sir. You need to wrap up.
Econometric impact of the intervention program, the subsidy intervention program. It has its short and long-term plan.
Okay, Alamin, we need to let you go now. You've actually exhausted the time.
And the other is infrastructural.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, Alamin. We all have, time assigned to individuals. Whatever point you have to make, please make it as soon as possible. That's why I prompted you that you were out of time. So I was expecting you to wrap up as soon as possible, but you did not. Apologies for that. 08130111724. Good morning. Hello, good morning. Okay, sorry about that. Kindly call back. The line is acting up, from your end. Do well to call us right back. Please, when you call, just go straight to the point because we all have time allotted to us. Okay? Good morning.
Hello?
Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Thank you. My name is Joseph.
Okay, Chuku, where have you been? Okay, it's been a while. Do you know, the other day, I was trying to recollect your name. It escaped my mind. I literally wanted to ask that. It's been a while. I haven't heard from you. Hope you're good.
Thank you, my brother.
Great to have you back. Go on.
I'd like to say something before I to the headline. Have you seen this early morning? I went to the NSC for this early morning. I'm just seeing different price. What is happening in this country?
You went to NNPC and what happened?
I see different price. 617 naira now.
617?
Yes.
At the NNPC now?
The mega station now.
In Abuja?
Yes.
617.
I'm seeing now in the NNPC. 617 naira. How are we going in this country? Yes. They are talking of the ones that most people to eat. They are still adding this fuel money. What do they want the government to do? You see, please, I'm taking my government. You should please visit the poor one. It is not about that he is the president. Look at what is happening. You cannot move freely. Yes? So that 10,000 naira that they said that they want to share for the poor one. Please, can anybody tell me who Buhari regime? Did anybody came out to say that they received that 5,000 naira? You are here, you people are the journalists. Have you heard from anybody that came out to say we are receiving this 5,000 from Buhari? So me, I don't think this is just a scam. Please, they should look for another way out. Even the bosses doing the profile, and Nigeria does not have anything like maintenance. Go to Kubwa, you will see those bosses there, lying down there like a dead body. You see, it's a long way to this country.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Ukechukwu, for your submission. Anyway, the one that actually shook me was what he just said, because that one touches me. Saying you just go for 617 naira at NNPC Mega Filling Station. Please, I'm going to, after the show this morning, I'm down on fuel and I was hoping to fill up my tank with this present condition. Yeah, oh Lord, help us. Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, hello, good morning.
Good morning. I want to tell you that
oh, sorry, so sorry. We can barely hear you. Please kindly call back. I don't know what's wrong with the phone line this morning. I guess network is not too friendly this morning. I'm actually straining my ears to hear, what we are saying this morning. Please kindly call back and move where you can have better reception. And also we'll try to sort things out, network, from our end as well. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
My name is John. I'm calling from Dobi.
John, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Dobi, Gwagwalada area.
Okay, Gwagwalada, you're welcome.
This issue made me to remember the song of Lares of Who said the authorities stealing past arm robber. This money should be used in repairing our refinery, empowering our people. If you go to the south, they will tell you that bunkry. If you get these boys together, modeling refinery, they refine crude oil and we get fuel. Let us develop our industry and not to waste this money. They will borrow money only for themselves, not for the masses. If you not get to the masses. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's develop, our economy. Other sectors build modular refineries rather than, borrowing monies for conditional cash transfer, which some Nigerians have actually said might not be even transferred. But we just hope, let's be optimistic and hope that things change. Good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
Good morning to you.
I was on that. How was?
Good morning. Go ahead.
My name is Mala Aruna, calling from Kuba Federal Housing.
Welcome, Mala Aruna. Go ahead.
I want to talk about 8,000 naira palliative by the Tinubu. My brother, it's the same platform for in 2017 to 2019. How many people will get that 8,000? They should carry that money to go and put for refinery or 1 billion investment. Company to employ the youth, because people are suffering. We should reduce the fuel price. We should reduce school fees of the federal universities. You should do the NEPA bill. You should open the borders so that the people can still the shop. So all these kind of things now is not in favor of common man. And the same criminals will share that money. Anybody expect good thing from the APC government to what system? God deliver from the APC government. Thank you.
Okay, Malam Aruna, thank you. Saying God deliver us from APC. Okay, good morning. Good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello. Okay, kindly call back. Do well to send us a message via WhatsApp. WhatsApp is 070-3372-8313. The WhatsApp number, again, 070-3372-8313. You can also call us up via the number 08130-111-724. 08130-111-724. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Good morning to your guest.
Good morning.
Yeah. Simeon, I want to ask you a question. That loan, are we going to pay back to World Bank?
My brother, they said it's a facility, but at the end of the day, a lot of questions Nigerians have been asking that if it's a facility, the World Bank is not, a Father Christmas. Neither are they an NGO that just gives money for the sake of giving money.
They're going to pay back. Why I'm asking this question is, if we are going to pay back, why would you on earth go to borrow money to somebody and the person will tell you what to use the money to do? And even you, an educated someone, you are arguing about it, say what bank, you say we should share it direct to the poorest of the poor. Who is the poorest of the poor? Okay, who has been taking care of that poorest of the poor before they enter into government? Before President Bola Tinubu emerged as the Nigerian president, who has been taking care of them? Why are they deceiving us like this? We deserve better than this. How can we be a slave in our own country? Okay, senators now they are taking their own palliative, 70 million, and poorest of the poor. What of the middle class? Or the middle class doesn't need anything. My mother in the village now, 8,000 cannot do my mother 2 days. 8,000 can never do her 2 days. Okay, not that we share the money. What are they using to go and share the money? Is it not transport? How much is transport? Because I can't send them to the account. The most of them don't have account. Okay, you have to spend transport. Okay, from here to my state, around 15,000. You land my mental. Then From my main town to my village, you can spend up to 3,000 or 4,000. Then you are going to give the person 8,000. You spend to something thousand to go and share 8,000. Simeon, does that make sense? Have a nice day, my brother.
Okay, thank you so much. A lot of questions being asked as regards this, 8,000 naira. The 8,000 naira will not even be enough for, his mom. But the truth is, as much as a lot of Nigerians are concerned about this cash transfer, it's something that some people, it irks certain people's ears to actually hear that monies are being collected or facilities are being accessed just to be transferred to people, rather than empowering these people. 8,000 naira will not do much. That's what most people feel about this. Good morning. Okay, kindly call back. WhatsApp number is 070-3372-8313. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, boss.
Good morning.
My name is Police Masokoro.
You're welcome. Go ahead, please.
God bless you. I want to direct this question to Mr. Simon on the studio. I'm sorry. Remember, really, accent, we know the truth. Don't know why we are hiding things to ourselves in Nigeria. We keep on deceiving ourselves. It's very bad. The last time during the war regime, remember what happened during the thing. If politicians can hide ordinary food from the masses, hide food items, consumables, they're supposed to go to the masses for them to eat and have strength to strive. They hide it from them. Is it what they will give to them? They will not give to them. We should stop deceiving ourselves. If my brother I called last, like he said, asked a question. You see, I don't want to pay World Bank this money back. If you want to pay this money, they're not a charitable organization. This is what bank we're talking about here. If World Bank is giving you money, it means you are going to pay the money back. Not even interest. So if they will have the federal government want to go and borrow that money for the less privileges, we know that everybody in Nigeria has less privilege. Let's be told. This full of increases money. Everything is increasing in Nigeria. We don't consider, and nobody is rich, nobody is poor, apart from the political class. So if we are going to go to World Bank and ask for money for the less privilege, or the people that are poorest of the poor in the villages, please borrow money and for refineries. Get people employed. When everybody is doing something, every poor man can go to the refinery and do other things. We have domestic jobs. They will do work and they will get paid and take care of themselves. Please, that's what I have this morning to say. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, thank you so much for your submission. Anyway, a lot of people are asking me questions. I'm just being an obscene. The truth is, whether I would like it or not, I am a Nigerian. I go through everything. So when I talk certain things, I'm not trying to be insensitive to the plight of an average Nigerian. Okay, I'm going through the same. Okay, Chuku just called and said he saw that the price of fuel is 617 this morning. As at I think I bought fuel 2 days ago. I bought at 540. So if I'm going to buy fuel at 617 today, it will also dig deep into my pocket. And not even an average Nigerian can actually even afford fuel at this particular time. So as to put this matter to rest, the truth is I'm a Nigerian. I'm going through what you're going through. I feel your pain. But the truth is, I've told myself, or I've made the decision that the condition or the situation of Nigeria will not stop me from always being optimistic about anything. And maybe that's what have actually helped me in life. I'm very optimistic, and maybe that's why certain things work for me. Okay, but the truth is, I see what is happening. It bites me. I went to the market because wifey couldn't go to the market. I had to go to the market some days, I think over the weekend on Saturday, to get things for myself. And I literally ran out of the market without buying anything. And I came back and my wife was laughing at me. So the truth is, I also go through similar pains. I go through the same stress. So I'm not being insensitive to what Nigerians are going through. I know what you're going through. I read the dailies. I experience things on a daily basis as well. So, but the truth is, I'm just a very optimistic person, basically. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning to you.
Is that Jordan?
Welcome.
All right. You see, I just really want to contribute my portion to this your discussion about this 8,000 naira money. You see, these people, they are only taking us for granted.
They're not fools. They are not fools. You know what's happening. Who is this poor of the poorest that they are talking of? If you say you want to have the poor of the poorest, myself, I'm a grassroots man. I have those people who break firewood. I have those people who follow motor, who sometimes went for breaking job. They have family at home. So I cannot really classify who are those of the poorest of the poor that they say want to give that money. And number two, I will advise them, instead of giving that 8,000 naira, please, I beg them in the name of God Almighty, let them put this money in transportation. If this money has transportation, government have their own transportation. Like now, somebody want to go from this allergy. Instead of paying 150 or 200 now, you just see one bus that will come and take it for 100 naira or 50 naira. That is one of the advantage that we'll be having. That's one of the joy that we'll be having. To go to this allergy will not be hard for you. But for you to say you're giving the poor of the poorest, my brother, is just a fraud. Another way of like this homeschool feeding program. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Okay. 08130111724. The WhatsApp number is 07033728313. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Go ahead.
Dave is my name.
You are welcome.
Hey, Jiro, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome back. You see, this is our country. Our leaders are the ones who are, because I don't see how many years they take our leaders who really want to serve this country, to turn this country around. I don't know what's going on. I've said it before. That's $800 billion. Let them subsidize power, electricity, so that the country will keep moving 24 hours. People are ready to work for themselves. But there's no power. That's the problem. If they do that, they will alleviate. And then this motor licensing number plate should be reduced back to the normal price, or at least for the time being. These are the areas the poorest of the poor, whatever you are calling, will benefit fast. You understand? Now it's a debate on sharing of the 8,000 who are benefiting from it. Now, if you go back into the 8,000 naira, you don't see what you are using. Your letter will not even indicate that you are part of the market. For the Adamu issue, they should solve their political problems. We have a lot of problems that the masses are facing. That one is not a problem. Adamu knows how he came in. And he has gone out the way he came in. So what's the problem? We shouldn't be our headache. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your submission. Say Adamu zone should not be our problem. 24 minutes gone past 9 o'clock. We'll take this and we're going to quick break. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
My name is Angel.
Hello, please, your name, please.
Angel.
Oh, Angel. Angel, you're welcome.
Yes.
Go ahead, please.
I'm calling from Bishuri.
Okay.
About this money that they are sending, through Nigeria is going a lot of self-esteem. We didn't eat our case. Our friends do feed their case. And they have borrowed money to give us 8,000. That 8,000 cannot even buy the paper. If you went to market to buy a paper now, the paper will tell you that 3 is 200 naira. Okay, that money they want to send it for account. If my mother didn't have account, and the government this account, we cannot eat it. We are in Nigeria. If they want to share that money, they will carry that money and solve the problem that we have for this Nigeria. We should not use that money to be deceiving people that they say they want to share that money for people. No. That one wouldn't work. Because some people, they are biting their teeth for hospital, some people, they are biting their teeth because everything is caught. Person will sit down, we told them, see amount the money that he needs to pay, and you will not get it. And 8,000, what is 8,000? 8,000 will help you. Cannot work, sir. Please, we beg God, we should look into that thing. Bye.
Oh, okay, I didn't get to hear that last statement clearly. I just hope it's not what I heard. Hello, good morning to you. 26 minutes gone past 9 o'clock. Let me just go through some of the messages quickly before we wrap up. Ray is saying, good morning, the big daddy of ABJ and Apostle Ejiro. Greetings and welcome. APC internal crisis. In organization, there is always a Judas. Not all will agree and disagree. EFCC and DSS is becoming worrisome. They hold people in custody when the court say let go, but still hold tight and charge people to court for prosecution, but still claim deaf ears. It's like some people are bigger than the government. At 25% in the FCT, I don't think the court will rest that because they themselves will use technicality to have their way. Well, we pray the tribunal do the right thing. To be frank, the big daddy, I see nothing coming out of this case. APC will fight so hard to remain the winning side, even though with facts, because power in Nigeria is self-interest rather than the masses. The big daddy, people, they suffer. The president should be careful with the people around him. Advise him or else his administration will be times 2 of the past administration. Imagine 8K for a whole family. Haba, they should watch out and be careful with their policies. Yes, I agree with you, Ejiro. They should publish the names. The big daddy, let's be sincere, in Nigeria, they will not agree to show you the data. Rather, they will say orders from above, or they will say because of security reasons. Now, Nigeria, the impossible is possible. Social register that is invisible to see. Go to court is their new slogan. Well done, my people. And Atta Joel Friday is saying, good morning. You guys are giving Alameen more time to lie. And insult our sensitivity. Not really. It's unfortunate that people actually think the poorest of Nigerians are in the rural area. There are millionaires in the rural area, and there are poor people in the urban areas. That 8K is nothing but an insult to Nigerians. Okay, Joel Ota, this is Prince Basi. This is a crazy help from the World Bank. Isn't there a better way for Nigerians to be helped by our own government? The question is is the World Bank really helping us for free? I want us to know that we'll pay back, maybe not in cash. Think about this first before you start applauding. Father God, please help us. If they're not going to, anyway, the $800 million is actually it's about 2.5% for 25 years. If I'm not wrong, I think that's what Nigerians will have to pay back. This is actually from Alamin. Alamin, the 8K palliative is a short-term intervention to the most vulnerable household, and it is to caution the impact of the subsidy removal and not a total economic empowerment program. It is to add compassion and human face to the subsidy removal policy. There are other long-term plans, which is what the $500 billion will be channeled to. Those condemning the initiative should please ask their family members in the rural areas not to accept it when offered to them. The question is, if they see it, though, there are millions of households willing to accept it. Majority of people finding fault in this did not find fault in civil servant salary increments, but they want the poor to be denied their own intervention. I am personally inviting Mr. Ejiro to the National Social Safety Nets Coordinating Office and NSIO to make his findings about the workings of the office. I will personally provide him with all information to that effect. So, Ejiro, you want to know those on the social register. Alamin said he can actually help you out to get access to it if you're willing.
It's okay. We'll see about it.
Okay, good morning. My name is Pastor Abi Alfred Afolabi Dusi Alaji. Please, can I be enlightened about the mode of generating the social register? The previous government of APC carried out the same exercise, but didn't reach anyone in my local government in Kogi State. Does it mean no poor person there? Okay, the truth is, this social register is there. It has been there. People actually find it. This administration is not creating new register. That is why they tell people that if you want to have access,
in a country where at one time they say we are the poverty capital of the world, it means a lot of persons have become poor over the years. So you're using
people are still even becoming poorer.
Updated.
I think
you're saying just 15 million persons when the
so far
well over 100 million. So, how have you updated the poverty register?
The truth is, I'm not in government, so I cannot speak for the government. I'm not even, a part or even a member of any of these government agencies. I'm not in the National Social Safety, Net Coordinating Office. I don't work there.
If the money will get to the poorest of the poor, it's fine. But a situation whereby, how do you even come about this poorest of the poor? That means you just.
I think these questions. I think what I'm going to do to actually address some of these questions. One of these days, I think my team and the producer of Bright Republic will put a letter forward to the National Social Safety Coordinating or NETS Coordinating Office, and possibly ask one of the officials to come down.
Just told you that
he walked. Okay, he worked for them then at the time, not now. So we'll actually reach out to the agency. We'll reach out to the agency, let them come and actually answer the questions Nigerians are asking. How do they come about this register? How do they draw up this households? How do they go about? Do they send people into the field, or do they go through use the grassroots, maybe using traditional leaders and religious leaders to come up with the names of these households? Because the truth is, if you ask me now, why I go ask, I don't have an answer to these questions. I don't work for them, and I cannot speak for them. So we'll have to reach out to them personally, possibly this week and next week, and see if they actually answer to our letter, and of course send someone over to answer some of the lingering questions in the hearts and minds of Nigerians. Maybe we can now put that to rest finally. Okay, because for me, I don't have an answer to it. I only work with Bright FM. Ask me any question about Bright FM. Ask me how you want to do business, how you want to bring business to us. I will answer you. I will give you all the details, furnish you with all of that. Ask me political questions. I will furnish you with the details. But anything that has to do with the social net register, my brother, I cannot answer everything. But we're going to spill by a few minutes today. Let's take your reactions. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Yeah, my name is Mr. Ifachi from Kumo.
Mr. Ifachi, welcome.
On the issue of the money for the forest of the poor, I don't think it's a feasible arrangement. My brother, we are Africans. We have social value. You understand? I think what the government should do is to turn the money into class. Everybody's men and women who work. You understand me? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Now, before now, all of us have our agents, cousins, on, and take care of. And there are some countries like the South now, you hardly see people begging because of family value. People who are able and are working, take care of their parents, take care of the poor around them. So if they carry the money into people who are active and working, people who are able to have money, able to take care of them, who want to live independent, and not get a share money to take another naira in forest before. How will they generate that? How will they do that? We are Africans, my brothers. We are Africans. We have to work. For somebody else before now, how have people been taken care of? That's the question.
Okay. Thank you so much for your question. Anyway, the truth is some of these questions are rhetorical questions. They don't require an answer because I'm not a government official. I'm a Nigerian just like you, receiving the hits just like you. So, but the truth is, possibly we'll reach out to individuals who can actually answer most of this question, especially the question that has to do with this 8,000 naira, cash transfer. And we are also trying to reach out to maybe, someone in the legislature as well, a senator, and hopefully we should get a response from him anytime soon. And anytime he's here, all those questions channel it to him as well. Hello, good morning to you. Okay, sorry, we lost that call. 08130111724. We have less than 3 minutes before we say our byes. Good morning. Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning, Adamu.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you. This is Frederick calling you from Jabi.
Frederick from Jabi, welcome.
Thank you. My brother, you see, why we needed a change of government was because of the activity of the past government. Scam. My brother, what came out of school feeding program? What came out of house feeding program under COVID? What was money market or all this thing? Let me tell you, the hundreds of billions of naira or the trillions mismanaged, wasted on the social investment trust fund under the past government is what this government is about embarking upon. Clueless. How can you be having an inflation 22.79 in your country and you're bringing out money again to pump out to people? Who are their advisors? That was what heated the economy of Nigeria to this still. My brother, let me tell you, I was in Tarab, and in fact, I was in places. Social Investment Trust Fund, under Sadiya Farouk, all that was given, I'm telling you, is only where you could find some of these things was only in Bauchi. That's where she comes from. Nothing. I'm from Adamawa State. Nothing in Taraba. I'm telling you this. It's just pure scam. In fact, I was here with some people here now in what's the name of this place, Gwagwalada, where the Minister of State went with some people. I am telling you, the whole thing, is just, in fact, sorry. Why should we be lying to ourselves like this in this country? These fun names, people will just come to doctor in names and poor social names. A lot of people just went left with billions, hundreds of millions like that. And this government is not even checking the past thing that happened.
So you're saying, are you saying that there's a possibility of even the names on the list, being registered, being doctored?
My brother is a scam. Let me ask you. Ask somebody, where are the places? Go to places like all this Kuchingoro, all this Karimu, all this Gwagwana, all this. Don't we have poor people there? Have you ever had this organization on any scheme there? Have you ever come across that? My brother, they will even appreciate what the government has done through your platform. Even one or two people or three will appreciate what government has done to them. Nothing. No, I am telling you this. I was in Jos, but Plateau. We started with fit even before we reached Turu and the rest of this place. Sorry. You know what? Nigeria is our project. We always try to make sure that we find out any real thing on ground about what the government embarked upon. But nothing. The tenants almost this money is into a lot of campaigns. That's why you can see hardliners, those supporters of theirs, will come and tell you that the government are doing this. Where did they get the 12 million or 15 million households, my brother? And you haven't heard about a cousin, a relation, or some family friends of yours, or friends of your relations from somewhere that have been included. Can you tell me that, as you are, my brother, that there was single person, 2 or 10, who is under the scheme?
Okay.
That you know.
Thank you, my brother, for calling in. We need to let you go now.
We shouldn't be, you know what? We shouldn't be lying to ourselves.
Okay, thank you.
I wanted a different thing out of this whole thing, but the government are still being clueless. They are still watching the whole situation.
Thank you so much. Have a great day. I just had to allow you, take your time because you were the last caller for today. So I just had to allow you take your time and finish up. I see the calls coming in. Apologies. We can't take any, more calls right here on this platform. And looking at everything that's been said, the truth is, as much as I'm not trying to be insensitive, but this is not me supporting everything that's happening. But the truth is, if only our government had been accountable, you know, all these years, subsequent governments from when it started, from in fact the beginning of Nigeria's democracy, you know, till when we had our first democratically elected, you know, president in person of Olusegun Aremu Obasanjo, down to Asiwaju that we have at this particular moment. If we've had presidents and you know, people in power who have been sensitive to the plight of Nigerians, who was actually accountable in all they're doing, possibly Nigerians wouldn't have been pessimistic about all of this. Imagine Nigerians are still feeling that list, that register is doctored. Give us the names and the address of the individuals. Let's go to those villages and see if those houses do exist, if those families do exist. If we've had governments that have been accountable and Nigerians could believe, possibly we won't be having Nigerians being totally pessimistic about all of this, even some of the intervention programs that are meant to help and even ameliorate the pains and sufferings of the average Nigerian. Basically, what does this mean at the end of the day? We need a government that Nigerians can believe in. We need a government that when they say this, you know, Nigerians can believe that indeed, if this person and who is in charge of this government says this is what we are doing, indeed, that is what we are doing. And there's transparency in government when Nigerians can easily have access to those they elected in power and those who are even appointed. And also, they show us tangible evidence that what they said they've done is what they're truly doing. Maybe we'll start having Nigerians who are optimistic and start believing in, you know, what Nigeria is all about. But if we don't have these people, the truth is the bulk of every Nigerian will always still be pessimistic about, you know, what is going on. And this is a, you know, clarion call to this administration, the administration of President Bola Tinubu. It's time for you to run a transparent government. Take the bad eggs away. Create a name for yourself where when they call Bola Ahmed Tinubu, even years after, when we are gone, people will say, indeed, this was the president that Nigerians believed in, that the president actually changed things for the average Nigerian. Their names they call today, when you call their name, they're like, that one, leave him, I beg. It was part of the system. This is what we are hoping to change. And we hope that we start having leaders, and even we as Nigerians, because the truth is, we are a reflection of what they do up there at the end of the day. We're a total reflection.
Simeon, the government should lead by example.
And also
start by cutting the cost of governance.
Okay.
Then Nigerians will believe you.
Okay, amazing. So on that note, we wrap things up on Bright Republic. I'll be back tomorrow with more, you know, deliberations right here on Bright Republic. Thank you for being a part of the show. Tomorrow is Wednesday, so the Wednesday edition will just be 1 hour, 8 till 9 o'clock. After which Frank and Faith will be here for their program, that's the Smart Investor Guide. If you want to be a real estate person, you want to know how to own a property in the FCT, listen to the show by 9 a.m. tomorrow. But Bright Republic will be here 8 o'clock. My name is Simeon Sunday, the big daddy of ABJ, and of course Ejiro Nwata. He's a lecturer as well as a political analyst. Thank you for coming through.
Thank you, Simeon.
I'll see you tomorrow. OBO Sports coming up at 10 o'clock with the Bright Sports. Have a great morning.